Finally tonight, in February of 1945, Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal snapped this iconic Pulitzer Prize-winning photo. But he didn't have time to get the names of the men in it. That was left to the Marines. Now it turns out they didn't get it quite right. Here's David Martin.
Raising the flag on Iwo Jima, possibly the most famous photograph in American history, certainly the most famous in Marine Corps history. In today's terms, says retired Marine Colonel Mary Reinwald, it went viral and stayed viral.
When you see that picture and you see the American flag and the framing of that picture, and it shows victory, it shows the fighting spirit of the Marine Corps.
6,000 Marines lost their lives in the battle for Iwo Jima, including 3 of the men identified in the photo. 3 others were brought home on orders of President Roosevelt.
The photo had become so famous that he wanted the flag raisers to go out on a war bond tour to help raise more money for the war effort.
One of them was John Bradley, a Navy corpsman who fought alongside the Marines. Now, 7 decades later and more than 10 years after Bradley passed away, the Marine Corps has made an astonishing discovery about the men in this photo.
John Bradley was not one of the flag raisers.
We're looking at all the various straps and things holding things on.
The proof is in photos taken that day and analyzed by forensic specialist Michael Plaxton for a documentary on the Smithsonian Channel. Here is John Bradley, and here is the figure identified as John Bradley in the famous photo.
The aha moment was almost the instant I looked at the 2 pictures side by side.
Bradley was wearing pouches in which he carried his medical equipment. The Marine in the photo is wearing standard infantryman's gear. And the cuffs of his pants are rolled down over his boots. Bradley's cuffs were rolled up.
If John Bradley is not in that picture, that raises the obvious question of who is the 6th person in that picture.
This was the more difficult part of the exercise was, well, who's that guy?
A freeze frame taken from a film of the flag raising provided the first clue.
And the first thing I noticed about this man was that his helmet liner strap is hanging down beside his face, and it's swinging back and forth, and it's very, very evident when you see it in the film.
There was only one Marine there with a strap like that.
So here's Harold Schultz, and there's that loose liner strap.
Schultz survived the war, but for the rest of his life never said publicly he was in the picture.
Which is incredible in today's world, today's fame-driven world.
Bradley, who was later wounded and received the Navy Cross, did raise a flag that day, but 2 hours later it was replaced by the larger, more visible one, which became immortal. That flag is on display at the Marine Corps Museum. Bradley's name will come off, and Schultz's will go on. The record stands corrected, but the truth of shared struggle and ultimate victory captured in that split second remains unchanged. David Martin, CBS News, Quantico, Virginia.